I'm not forgetting he's in there. You keep forgetting that they printed these cards well before he was trying out. He just did that last week. These cards were already done. He's not going to be in the checklist, so it's not worth mentioning. Honestly, he's not worth mentioning. All right, so here we go. We are live. And again, this is our first look at the Alliance of American Football. I don't know, I feel like the packs have a little bit of a retro feel to them. Or is it just that Topps Football has a retro feel to it in general? I don't know. But with 3 hits per box, you know, this isn't like a mega bucks ticket here. This is just something where hobbyists can hobby. And there's a little bit of market activity on these. So, and is every card going to have rookie card on it, or are they going to save that for guys who have never played a professional game before? Hey, Toby, you're right on time. We're just about to start. Well, you know, you asked what these cards are worth, and it's like with any collectible, it's worth what somebody will pay for it. And there are going to be a few people who are like, oh, AAF is cool, and, you know, I'll pick up some cards. These probably not going to be big money makers, okay? Although I do think there is a short window of markability on these cards. I only pre-ordered 6 boxes because that's about what I thought the market could, you know, withstand here. I put them on the back. That's weird. So, but you know, there's some NFL names even in the coaching department. I don't know if they signed or not, but you know, there's some stuff here, and you never know. Think about it like this, and Chris just said it, and it was just what I was thinking. The USFL rookies of certain players are very desirable. They were way shorter printed than the NFL cards. And if one of these guys comes out of the AAF to the NFL and becomes a mega superstar, that'll be the driving point. So that's one example of what could happen. The other example of what could happen, if you look at like the NFL Europe cards, I think Wild Card put those out in the early 90s. All right. And all the other, I guess, attempts overseas that have failed. You know, you don't really see any big money cards, but it could be because you never really got any big money stars out of those leagues, whereas the USFL produced some major players, and those cards predate their NFL rookie cards by a few years. So, absolutely. So it's kind of both examples are possible. They could be something that we look at 20 years and we see these boxes in like a $5 bin at a flea market. So got Max Redfield, Chris Odom. So a lot of these rookie cards are going to be guys who haven't had a chance in the NFL. See, Zach Stacy doesn't get the rookie card symbol, which makes sense because otherwise all these cards would be rookie cards. Orion Stewart, Mikhail McKay, Ladarius Gunter, Jordan Leslie, Dwayne Hollis, Terrence McGee, Davis Tull, Connor Davis, Julius Wormsley, Francis Owusu, Brandon Ross, Fadarius Perkins, Nick Novak, Chris Davis, John Wolford, Kayun Ross. So these are the names that we're seeing here. All right. Trent Richardson, again, he's a guy who was a huge hobby bust a few years back, and he's trying to get his name back up. You know, if he plays like a superstar, that could earn him a tryout with a team this summer. It could earn him a roster spot somewhere, and then he can be a feel-good story. And guys who either, still collect them because of what he did in college, or just could never get rid of their collections, so they figured, why not keep it going? There could be some interest there. You got Pepper Johnson. And Mike Singletary is another name that I think comes up in this set. Yep, he is. I'm watching him right now. Toby, this is your box. And one of the guys that we mentioned, Scooby Wright, who looked like he was a possibility of getting picked up by an NFL team, didn't happen. So Scooby Wright, I don't see a rookie card stamp. I just don't know whether the autographs don't always have them, or if he's not considered a rookie because he might have been on even a practice roster for the NFL. I don't know. I'd have to, I guess, do some more research on what designates a rookie card. But obviously, guys who have had some experience in other professional leagues, I'm going to assume that's going to count for CFL and anything like that. Maybe even somebody who's been in arena football a long time, maybe they wouldn't give him a rookie card because he's not a rookie. So future stars, you got Dantes Ford. All right. I don't know if that's a parallel or it's just the way the set looks. But for an AAF card, I think this is deserving of a little 1 cent love. Why not? Maybe he is a future star. He missed part of his final season at Pitt with an injury. So he's a physical receiver who's been on Detroit's practice squad. So they are going to make mention, like Panini does, of the cities of NFL teams, I guess. And so I guess practice squad does count. So, and come on, you've got cool names like Mephi Kalamatangi. At least it's not Mephi. That would just be awkward. Dylan Donahue, Irvin Phillips, Jaquan Gardner, Zach Mettenberger is a guy who, oh man, what was he, a 2014 draft pick? Marquise Bundy, Steven Johnson, Beniquez Brown, Tim Cook. Yeah, pretty much. He pretty much just fell off the radar. Trey Mason, it just, other options were used instead of him. And same thing with Zach Stacy. Once he got let go from the Rams, I think he found a temporary home, didn't work out, and never really picked up with anybody else. I mean, you got to face it, running backs are just dime a dozen nowadays. They're not as valued as they used to be. Which is why, as much as I love Saquon Barkley, I still think the Giants went in the wrong direction there. Because once they finally get their act together and put a good team, Saquon Barkley's going to be past his prime. Or they're not going to want to pay the amount of money that he's going to be worth. You could argue Le'Veon Bell went through the same thing. We talked about it. He was expecting something. And what did he end up getting? He got less money per year on a year with barely more money guaranteed than if he had played that 1 year. So he would have been putting $8 million on the table, but he wouldn't have branded himself a nuisance. And let's face it, once you're a nuisance, the only teams that are going to sign you are the Cowboys, who don't need a running back, and the Jets. And that's what happened. Hines Ward. All right. So now we get to see, you know, some of the NFL favorites. Like if these guys, these coaches sign, that makes the product even stronger. And Channing Stribling. So this has got a rookie emblem on it. And there's Mike Singletary right there, coaching the Memphis Express. That Channing Stribling is part of the roster. I wouldn't say it's like LT and Adrian Peterson because those were Hall of Fame backs who they were at the end of their prime. Guys like Stacy and Trey Mason are still age-wise considered in their prime. No, they didn't offer a nice contract extension. They offered an extension that guaranteed very little money and would have paid him a giant bonus in the first year. And that's the way Pittsburgh does it. And they've done it that way for a number of years. So they weren't singling him out or anything like that. But they franchise tagged him, and you know, he should have taken the $17 million. It was stupid not to. That is a huge payday for a running back. Yeah, but look, if and I say this every time, all right? If you sign a contract in the NFL, you know how it works, how the system is. If you're not as good as your contract, you know, yeah, you do a good job. All right, you go into your boss, you ask for a raise, and he says no. You know, regular everyday 9-to-5ers are going to be like, all right, I'll look for another job and I'll give you my 2 weeks notice. But if you're like the executive of a major corporation that signed you to a, you know, 4-year minimum, or a professor or something where your job would be a contract like a sports player. There's not a lot of those out there. And you don't honor that contract, you get sued. He sat out. He didn't make no money. But I'm sorry, but I feel like that's kind of a joke. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
Why are you yelling? Are you hostile?
No, I'm not hostile.
I ran out of spray paint.
Steve Spurrier.
So that's not good.
Young Ho Koo. What do you got here? Ricky Hatley. And there's Jarrell Presley. So I guess we'll sleeve up another future star. Oh, you're comparing him to Barkley to LT and Peterson. Yeah, I mean, you could even go back and say Barry Sanders. I mean, the way Barkley looks, he probably could be looked at on that level in the future. Finally got a parallel. 48 out of 99, Scott Orndorff. There's Zach Stacy. So I don't know about Jalen Marshall, but it's possible. Oh no, it's too early to make that comparison. I'm just saying. Looks like Dr. Jen Welter. I guess they've got they want to show that they have working equality in place. They'll put the cards of the men head coaches and the assistant coaches and trainers, the females. I don't know. Aaron Murray. He was a Chiefs draft pick. And when you had guys like Patrick Mahomes coming in, even if you're a decent quarterback, you're gone. Andrew Tiller. Hines Ward there. Centavius Jones. So we are looking. Gotta love this name. Busta. Busta Anderson. It's got to be a nickname. Obum Gwacham. Mike Martz. Trey Williams. And hey, Troy Polamalu. Head of Player Relations and Hair Care. Akeem Hunt. Almost thought Kareem Hunt would end up in this league, but he got a little bit lighter suspension than I thought the media would allow. There's Christian Hackenberg, former second-round pick of the Jets. And had a good career at Penn State. So, I gotta say, I haven't actually watched any of these games yet. Is this playing more like a pro playbook or a college playbook or kind of a mix? I almost think some pro teams are kind of a mix nowadays. And Busta Anderson, 16 out of 25. So we'll bust a low-numbered one right there. Tight end. He was selected. He was in the final round of the 2015 draft. And I guess by the 49ers. Had some time with the Bears and the Bills, I guess, on practice squads. But I guess injury setbacks. All right, so the NFL breaks. So this is a pick your team style break. And the reason why they're so cheap compared to the Giants is this. Hey, Nigel, how's it going? So out of National Treasures, the most desirable thing is the True RPA. True RPA is the big money card in National Treasures. And if you pull a Saquon Barkley True RPA, it's going to go for thousands. All right. Now the Rams have some good stuff too. They got some Hall of Fame names. I want to say Marshall Faulk or Eric Dickerson. Some of those guys would be on the list, right? So good stuff possible, but it'll come nowhere near what a Saquon Barkley auto would demand. So that's kind of how the pricing has to go. There's a mix of factors that we put into pricing to pick your teams. One is, what are the odds of you getting your money's worth overall? Another one is, what are the big players that everybody is looking for, and you know, how much are they driving the market value of the boxes? And then how often do these teams hit? You know, what's the checklist look like? So there's a lot of factors that go into it. A lot of factors that go into it. I don't know why Topps is putting the autographs last card of the pack. Asking for condition sensitivity. Yeah, Gypsy Queen's coming up this week, I think. Unless they set it back. Big release week this week. Loaded with big products. No, Flawless Football got pushed back. What am I thinking of? Gypsy Queen's one of them. There was something else. I know we got historic autographs. The Comic Avalanche is coming this week, as is the Streak. So 2 big products. There's Denard Robinson. 2 big products from Historic Autographs coming out. One will be baseball related. The other will be a comic book product, which we're going to be doing for the first time. Oh, Michael Vick. Yeah. Nick Thurman.
What's the matter with you? How come you're covered in mulch? Get outside.
Akram Wadley, he was another one from this year's draft class that didn't quite make the cut. So Scooby Wright. And Akeem Hunt. Get a little 1 cent love there. I guess they have a combine for them too, right? Or maybe they're talking about old times that he had. Cool, cool. So yeah, and we have a break right now with WWE Legends and Undisputed in it. So we do a draft style, and we kind of like there's spots for each of the hits, and there's spots for some of the card combinations out there, like the base cards or base inserts and parallels, stuff like that. It is 22 for a spot or 2 for 39. And we have some history with those. We also sell them individually by the box. The Legends will even split up to mini boxes. Pig Howard. And Luis Perez. So 99 out of 99 on the quarterback there. Yep, and there is one UFC box. UFC knockouts in there. Stringfellow. Jacob Pugh III. Malachi Jones. Gavin Escobar. Wasn't he a Cowboys product that looked pretty good? And then I guess he eventually got... yeah, Dallas selected him in the 2nd round of 2013. And in 2 seasons, he caught 30 catches and 8 for touchdowns. But I guess they weren't happy overall. And Greer Martini is going to be the final autograph here. Salt Lake Stallions. Greer Martini. Yeah, man. We pulled some cool stuff, that's for sure. And we're looking to pull some more. So, Toby, final breakdown here. So you got Busta Anderson, gold, number to 25. Greer Martini. Channing Stribling. And I would say this is probably the name that I know the most, Scooby Wright. All on card. It's all backs, defensive backs, linebackers. You got the defense box. So Toby, thank you very much. And again, if anybody else wants to take a crack at these, it is just $65 a box. when you look at the fact that you're getting 3 autos. Looks like about 4 to 6 parallels numbered, and a few future star inserts. So for what it is, for 24 packs, I mean, shoot, kids pay $7 for a blind box with a little tiny thing in it. So I think that for us to get our jollies on a few AAF cards, that's not too bad. Whether they'll have any intrinsic value in the future, that's debatable. Again, we've seen examples of where they have, and we've seen examples of where they haven't. But as long as you have fun when you get them, that's what matters. And you never know. A guy like Scooby Wright could come back into the NFL scene. So he was a guy who was in Contenders Draft last year and in Classics. So it was believed he would be a player who was going to end up showing up on an NFL roster. At least Panini did. Most of those players that they do put on those cards end up making it as either draft picks or undrafted. At least they get signed. Whether they get cut right away or not, it's a different story. Some of them do. But then they have 10,000 stickers of a guy who they have to squeeze into those sets. So, main goal right now, let's get NT Prism filled up. All right. The second half of what would be considered a double case break. All right. We brought it down a little bit so that we could make it affordable for those who didn't want to be completely committed. Again, our strategy is we don't want to give you nothing. I wouldn't just do a case break of National Treasures because there's going to be people who go home with zip, zilt, zero. So mixing it with a box like Prism makes for a good deal there. So 2018 National Treasures, 2 boxes. 2018 Prism, 6 boxes. Cardinals are 150, Bills are 185. The Broncos are 150, the Lions are 100. Dolphins are 95, Saints 50, Eagles 45, Seahawks 70, Rams 55, Bucks 40, Panthers 75, Bengals 40, Packers 85, Texans 75, Colts 75, Jags 50, Giants 325, Jets 160, Raiders 30, and the Titans are 50. So again, that's 6 boxes of Prism, 2 boxes of National Treasures, and that is one that I'm hoping we're at the halfway point. Really, I mean, you get like 4 or 5 teams knocked off this list, and then people know it's close, and then they're going to be jumping. We just got to get it past this little middle hump here. Yes, you did, Daniel. So when I stop this video, you can view the beginning, unless you want to get a box yourself. These were this was the hit recap. So we had Greer Martini, Channing Stribling, and Scooby Wright. And I was thinking of putting up a 2-box random team break. So 2-box random team break. I think I'm going to put one up. So does anybody have anything for me? Again, we went over a lot of stuff that we have on the board. There's still more waiting in the wings, and some of that's going to start coming out today. If your settings, right, were set to see us first, check them again. People have been getting their settings set back to default. It's been extremely noticeable since the major Facebook outage last week. Extremely noticeable. So just double check your settings. If you need to see how, I put a post up or you could just message me and I'll show you what you need to look at in order to make sure that those settings are done. All right, cool. So look for that posting in the next few minutes. So last call. Again, if anybody's looking to get into any of our breaks, they are always on the pinned post. All right. Sometimes might take a little while, might take a few hours, maybe a day before they show up on the pinned post after we list them. But all the breaks are always always on the pinned post. So if you need anything, just hit me up on Messenger. Take it easy.